And the more you're willing to write these things down, the more you can embody you already living this life. I believe that somehow your actions, you see opportunities in ways that you wouldn't have if you hadn't connected to this new life that you want to create.
Hi, my name is Pernilla, and this is my Challenge Your Norm podcast. I'm absolutely obsessed with anything related to personal development. And well, to grow, we gotta challenge our norm. And so on this podcast, we chat about life and how we can challenge our normal way of living it to make it greater than we could have ever imagined. Just one little belief, habit, bold move, and challenge at a time.
Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to another episode here on my Challenge Your Norm podcast, which I have been wanting to make a new podcast episode for so long, but my life has been a little bit crazy recently. I'm currently in Costa Rica, and I have spent the last 3 weeks traveling around, going to different cities here in Costa Rica. I left my apartment in Los Angeles. I was actually supposed to get rid of the lease, but instead I allowed some friends to stay in it while I'm gone for the next 5, 6, who knows how many months I'm going to be gone. Right now, the plan is, I think, 5 more months, but we'll see what happens because right now we are loving this digital nomad life that we have embarked upon. And in today's episode, I just kind of want to chat with you about how all of this came about because I feel like I am living the dream that I have been dreaming about for I don't know how long, but ever since I can remember, ever since I started this content creator life, making videos for a living, I have been dreaming about doing this. And I did it before, as in traveled around, but I did it alone at the time. And I have always dreamed of finding someone who I would love to do it with, and I have and we're doing it. And it has been just as incredible and dreamy like as I had envisioned, with, of course, the normal things that can get in the way, the challenges. Your mindset doesn't change. So the same things that you're working on in your day to day life, whenever you embark on some dreamy adventure, those aren't just going to leave you because you leave the country. So I wanted to use this podcast episode kind of to dig into all the things that have led me to make this dream of mine become a reality. Because I know that if you're listening to this podcast, you're also someone who has massive dreams for your life. And I, of course, have more dreams. This is just something on my bucket list that I wanted to do. And I, of course, am always striving to become better and do more. It's never a end destination for me. It's a continuously evolving life. But I have accomplished, made this thing happen for me. And I want to share exactly what I've done in the hopes that you, right now, whatever it is that you're striving for, if you feel like you're right now in the waiting room or you feel like you've tried everything and it's just not happening, that I can hopefully be that person that resparks the thrill, the excitement for you to continue believing that it's coming to you, that it's happening, continue to help you continue to take action so that you really just keep on going, moving towards this thing that you deep down want. And I want to start in Bali. 1.5 years ago today, I went to a retreat in Bali. I, of course, had these dreams like way before then, but a year and a half ago in Bali, I really connected with this vision. I was at a point in my life where I had been single for a long time as well, and I had been creating content all that year without really feeling like I was aligning my videos with what it is that I deep down wanted to become as a content creator, the value that I wanted to share. I had felt a lot of loneliness in that year, and I wanted to build a community. I wanted to start opening myself up to love again, and I wanted to make a bigger impact in the world with the work that I do every single day. And on that trip, my mom and I, who I was on this retreat with, Balinese retreat, we had this day planned as a part of the retreat that we were on where there's different touristy things, and my mom and I are not into touristy things. So we were actually a little bit like, this is not really our vibe, but we'll just go with the flow. But one of the things that we did on that day was we went to this Balinese temple where there was a ritual that made us first do a prayer, set intentions for what we wanted to create in life. You can go watch the YouTube video. I made a full YouTube video on it. And then it took us into this bath of water, where there were these little fountains of water flowing down on us. And we had to make a prayer, the same prayer, every single time as this water ran down on our bodies. And I remember on that day connecting to this vision of my life on a deeper level than I had for a very, very long time. And I just remember embodying it, feeling it. There were three things that I was focused on, the things that I mentioned to you. I just felt it. I'm actually getting shivers as I'm sharing this because it was a really powerful day. And I remember my mom saying, like, it wasn't too powerful for me, but I just remember feeling that this is what I'm going to create for my life. And, of course, a lot of time passed in between where from coming back from that retreat, no, to be completely real, if I'm thinking back straight, I came back and I made massive changes in my life, and I embodied self discipline. I embodied different things that I had set my intention to be when I came back, which led me to align my actions more with what it was that I wanted to create with my life. I really wanted to create like minded friendships and a community, and I really made that an intention, which it hadn't been for a very long time. And many things started to unfold in my life. I also remember my content starting to align more, and just little by little, like things were coming together. But there were also waiting seasons, a lot of in between where I still felt like, oh, nothing is happening towards this thing that I really want for my life. I just feel like that's important because you may be in a waiting room right now, and I just want to make clear to you that I felt like that throughout the last year and a half since this retreat as well, many times. Every single day is a long journey, so it wasn't just like I snapped my fingers and this thing happened, but I started developing more of a like-minded community. I later met Alex, who is with me on these travels. We've been dating for a year now, and since we started talking, which I'll get into all the day-to-day rituals that I've done to manifest. I don't know if I even like to call it manifest this dream life, but that it really is what it is. So I'm actually going to call it that because I also feel like I manifested Alex on this is like ritual situation, because I felt the type of love that I wanted to feel, the type of human that I wanted to connect with. And at the time, I was really thinking like, but that's not possible. Like, I can't find someone like that because I'd never been with someone like that before, right? We can dream something but not know if it's actually possible until it happens and we see it for ourselves. So in that time, I also met Alex, and we started dreaming about this life that we're living right now of traveling all around the world and creating valuable content. And he has been in a contract for the last year since we met, and he ended his contract on April 1st, which meant we were able to embark on this journey. And on April 1st, we moved all of his stuff into my apartment and then rented that out. And the fastest ticket we could find to Costa Rica, we got it, and we went on this journey. Now, the things that I want to share with you in this podcast episode that are nothing new or revolutionary, but it's things that I've done. And I haven't done everything every day, but it's things that I've done in seasons or as much as I could. I kept coming back to them. Something that I do every day that I recommend to everyone is I journal and I meditate. And in my journaling, what I've often done is I have written down everything that I want to experience as if it's happening in my current now. So like I found while I was packing up all my stuff before we left here, I found like a written paper in one of my journals that I had written in the beginning of me and Alex starting to date. And I wrote, because we'd been talking about this, like, traveling and creating content on the go. I had written basically what I'm living now, but a little different, but as if it had already happened. I wrote that last year, like a year ago. And that was wild to me because it just shows that if you write it down as if it's already happened, and this is not the first time this has happened, that I've continuously written down something that I want in my life as if it's happening in the now, that there's the stars somehow just align where it comes to life. And if it's something you've never done before, I really highly recommend that you give it a try, where you write down, today is, write the day. And I feel so grateful and happy because I am right now, let's just say, I a year ago had known we were going to come to Costa Rica. I didn't know at the time it was going to be Costa Rica, but I believe I wrote something like, I am currently traveling. I am in whatever place and with Alex, and I just finished my morning coffee and am enjoying this view where I'm sitting here and editing this YouTube video that we shot yesterday. It was so much fun, and we, whatever that you want in your life. But this was just an example from my life as to what I would, for example, write. And just, you can also go through your entire day. Like, I wake up and I walk out, I make a cup of coffee and I walk out to my new balcony that we just finished renovating, and the birds are singing, blah blah blah, like throughout, like then what you do for work and every little thing that you're doing, the smells, the colors, like as much in detail as possible is something that I highly recommend. And the more you're willing to write these things down, the more you can embody you already living this life. I believe that somehow your actions, you see opportunities in ways that you wouldn't have if you hadn't connected to this new life that you want to create for yourself. So the journaling is one thing that I do every day. I don't always do this manifestation work in my journaling. Sometimes I work through problems and I journal on like things I want to do for the day. But the more, I believe, the better. The more we connect to this thing that we want to create, the better. The other thing I do is I meditate every day. I do right now just a 10-minute meditation, and something that I've done a lot to visualize this life is I do manifestation visualizations where, someone guides you. I usually will just find something on YouTube or apps and whatever you can get your hands on that you feel, a soothing voice that you can find. And it takes you through a guided manifestation visualization where it gets you into those emotions, the experiences that you want to create in your life. So those two things I have used probably the most out of the ones that I'm going to share with you when it comes to like manifesting your dream life. Something else that I started doing throughout this, from Bali until now, is manifestation walks where I would walk on the street and visualize. Okay, this is something that I heard from Jen Gottlieb's podcast. She said that she would walk the streets of New York and she would visualize, before she had found her current husband, she would visualize her holding his hand, and like she would have visualized him in detail, and she would walk up these New York streets and just like pretend like she's walking and talking with him. And that is something that I started doing. And something that actually is really interesting that I came to find, this is a little bit off topic, but very, very interesting. What I came to find when I was trying that for the first time, I was like, because I've had great partners in the past, but we've never been compatible. And that's just the reality, in the sense of compatible with what we want in life, where we want to go, or who we want to be. I've never found a partner that has that same level of self-development passion that I have. And that's something that's very important for me. And so when I was at first going on these visualization walks, and I was visualizing me walking next to a new partner, I was like, but I don't want to walk next to my partner. It feels way better to walk by myself. And the reason I felt that way is because my only experiences from the past has been that if I've walked next to a partner, we would be having conversations that I wasn't really interested in. Where when I walk with myself, I'm an introvert, which most people don't think. I have extrovertedness as well. I'm an ambivert probably too. But like, I love walking and spending time with myself in that way. So when I was trying to visualize these like walks with a partner, I was like, I don't want to do this. This doesn't feel as good as if I were walking with myself. And so I had to like break that down and figure out, okay, that's because I don't know what it's like to be with someone where I actually enjoy walking with them and having the conversations that we're having. And I have girlfriends and I have my mom, for example, that I love walking with and having conversations with that are very deep. And so I had to kind of combine different experiences together in order for me to start actually experiencing this visualization walk of like me being walking with a partner that I actually did enjoy going on a walk with. And I started doing that, and that was very powerful. So if you've never tried that before, maybe give it a try, going on a walk and visualizing whatever it is that you want to visualize. Maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a dream career, like walking, like, or maybe you want to move to a city and you haven't done that yet and you're scared. And like, pretend that you're on this walk in your new city that you want to move to, or like, with your straight back because you just got this new career, this new job that you are thrilled about. Like, walk as if this thing that you really want has already happened. It's kind of like a walking manifestation meditation, I guess. And I did the same thing when it came to my gym sessions. And you can insert whatever thing that you do. But for me, obviously, I work out every day. And so in the gym sessions, what I would do there was more connect with the kind of person I wanted to be in order for me to make an impact in this world, in order for me to actually help other people change their life. And I would embody being an athlete, embody being the type of person that people would look up to and they would feel inspired by so that they could show up for themselves. So again, it's kind of like a manifestation, a gym workout session where it's like I'm really consistently, constantly reminding myself to focus on being this person that is inspiring, motivating other people to show up for themselves, to push through those times where they don't feel like it. And that has been crazy powerful for me because it also just helped me build my confidence as someone who's always struggled with feeling confident in myself, being afraid of feeling judged. It has just been very powerful to try to embody this next new version of myself that is all the things that I want to deep down be, but that maybe I hadn't fully become yet. And I'm talking as if it's like now you're more confident and then it's just how that is. But it's obviously a never ending journey. I'll have days where I feel less confident, days where I feel on top of the world, as you do too. So it's not like a yes or no, black and white situation. It's more so like a continuous journey of getting better and better so that the lows are not as low as they used to and the highs maybe keep getting higher. I do feel that even maybe on my worst day, I won't feel as low as I would maybe a few years ago on my lowest day. So it's like the block keeps getting better and better. And while I remember, I do want to mention I have done a March transformation challenge, an April transformation challenge, and I'm now doing a May transformation challenge. I have never done two challenges in a row, and now I'm doing three in a row because these challenges are just, they feel so good. The people that are entering these challenge do not play games. They're so vulnerable in sharing when things are not going the way that they want to, which a fitness journey, a life journey is never going to just go smoothly, right? There's always going to be bumps in the road at some point. And they are just committed to level up. And because we are so focused on the mental aspect of it, the physical aspect of it, the developing habits that long term make us feel at our best, and personalizing every single thing so that it works for the individual that is taking the challenge, that is embarking on this journey. Every single journey for every single individual that signs up looks different, but the community together, the weekly chats and the daily conversations inside of the group are just powerful beyond what I've experienced in any of my previous challenges. And I also think it's because I've really been so set on my intention for these challenges. And I wanted to share this because, in case you're someone who really wants to step into this next new version of yourself and manifest, create this next version of yourself, I hope you want to join us because it is really transformational for all of us, for me too, because surrounding yourself with people who are wanting better things for their life as well. For some people, it's more about like the journaling challenge and working on that self love. For some people, it's about the nutrition, which you get all my cooking books, all my cookbooks, and just like a full on nutritional guide. And some people, it is really getting into those workouts and pushing yourself physically and regardless of what you want to work on right now, I hope that if you feel called to join us, that you do. It really is beautiful. It's a awesome community. I love it so much. I'll put all the information in the description below if you want to check it out. The next thing that I want to share with you that I've also talked about so many times on this podcast, but I don't think we can ever be reminded enough with good things like this, is that I constantly have been, for the last, I don't know how many years since I embarked on my fitness and self-development journey, have been listening to podcasts nonstop, watching self-development YouTube videos nonstop, and listening or reading books. And I have needed that. I often get the question, like, how do you stay positive all the time? And trust me, I don't. But when I am out of flow, I make sure to put on a podcast that I know is going to motivate me or going to make me feel better, that is going to help me reconnect with this person that I want to be, or put on a YouTube video that I know is going to inspire me to go take action on something that is going to make me feel good. I'm very intentional about wanting to feel good always. It is a matter of daily showing up for myself. It's the same when it comes to if we want to, achieve any physical results in our body. It's about the daily choices that determine whether or not we're going to be successful of it. Are we going to eat that cake every day that is sitting there in the office? Or are we going to commit to doing the things that we know we need to do in order for us to achieve our goals? And it's the same with my mindset. Like, the reason I feel like I can consistently feel good, which I have off days. Absolutely. Yesterday, I actually had a little bit of an off day. But what I do on those days is I'm like, Pernilla, what do you need right now? And what I realized was that I was burned out. I have been working nonstop. Like, we've been traveling around in a camper, and when you have to shoot every day and come up with creative ideas, and you have contracts with brands that are expecting certain things from you, and you have to find ways to both find a gym, eat pretty healthy nutrition, have all your devices charged, because when you're a content creator, like, I have so many devices that need to be charged, as well as some sort of office space, and every day you have to set up the tent and bring it down, like, so many things. And then me, who tends to put so much pressure on myself, I just realized, like, you're just a little bit burned out. And so yesterday, when I was feeling a little bit like just low, I was just like, okay, well, what do you need? And what I came to understand was I needed just a half a day off. And what I did was I did that. I went on long walks. I did not do a workout because I just was like not feeling it. I just was sitting and eating some delicious foods while watching a YouTube video. And then when Alex was finished with his workout, then we went home and he cooked us dinner. He's way better at cooking than I am. And I was sitting there and just chatting. And it was just so nice, where every other day I've literally been working or doing things with him till I went to bed. So it was just incredibly important for me to do that. And I think that whenever we feel low, it's about asking ourselves, what do I need in this moment? Because we tend to, I guess, at least I think, if you're listening to this podcast, it's because you have tendencies like me that you want to do good always, right? And then we sometimes forget to listen to ourselves. And so when we do have off days, ask ourselves, what do I really need? But I think I just went on a tangent, a little sidetrack there, because what we were talking about was the podcast and YouTube videos and books I was reading every single day to manifest this life. And I think that's really important, because when you read books, you gain new knowledge as to how you can take new action steps, how you can think differently, how you can do things smarter so that you can create this life that you deep down want. And if you're listening to this podcast, I mean, you're already doing it. So that's incredible. But who knows? Maybe instead of watching Netflix at night, you start reading. We've talked about that in our April Transformation Challenge as well. A lot of the girls there have, and guys, a lot of the people there have started letting go of the Netflix at night, putting their phone away, and instead grabbing that book to read, because not only will they sleep better because they don't have the screen on so much, but then also they'll wake up more motivated, right? Because when you're reading self-development books before you go to bed, that's what your subconscious mind is going to be thinking about all night long. And when you wake up, you're like, let's freaking go. As well as, it's more likely that you fall asleep sooner, right? With Netflix, so you can like keep scrolling and go to the next one. But when you're reading, it's like you're going to get tired when you get tired. And then you put away the book and you get more sleep, which is also just so important. It's just so important. I wrote a little list of things that it literally, I got the idea to make this podcast 5 minutes ago because I've been wanting to make a podcast. 5 minutes before I started recording because I've been wanting to make a podcast for so long. There's just been no time for it. So I just wrote like a list 5 minutes before I went in here on things that I wanted to share in this podcast episode. And I know that I've been all over the place, but I've just been enjoying chatting with you. If I didn't do it like this quickly, I maybe would not have been able to do this today. So I'd rather sit down and have a little bit of a all over the place conversation with you than not at all. I hope you agree. But the last thing that I had written on the list was to not give up. Just not give up. I could have given up so many times on my journey of becoming a content creator because financially at times it's been really hard. I felt very, very lonely because it's a very lonely job if you do it in the way that I do it, at least. Like the hours I spend on my computer alone or filming alone has been insane. I know a lot of content creators are very good at, doing everything together, but which now I am as well. Like having Alex around makes such a big difference for me. Like really. But the amount of times I could have given up because it just did not seem to work out are endless, or because I miss my family and I wanted to move back home, or because it would be easier for me to make money in all sorts of different kinds of ways. But I wanted this so badly. Like even if everything was taken away from me today, like I would just start from scratch. I love this so much that I will never, ever give up. But I don't know who needed the reminder today to just not give up. Maybe you have been either wanting to or you have given up on this thing that you really want. I really hope you don't. Because what if tomorrow was the day that everything was about to unfold in the way that you had always wanted it to? I do not want you to miss out on that, because you have one life and you got to keep going. You got to keep moving. And I hope that one of the things that I shared in today's podcast episode inspires you, brings back that excitement to keep going for it. And the beauty of doing these little things, habits, is that it's fun. We think that we all know this. This is just a reminder for all of us. But we think that once we've achieved the goal, then we're going to be happy. Then everything's going to feel good. But I've written a few things that I wanted to share with you so that you know that that is not the case, just as a reminder. But the journey is a part that is thrilling, exciting. That's where we're evolving. I'm going to say this Tony Robbins quote that I've talked about so many times. It is growth equals happiness. When we stay stagnant for too long, that's when we start feeling things are off. But when we're continuously moving towards something that we want and growing from it, that's what really happiness is. And I did find out about that a few years ago, really realizing, wow, yeah, it's the journey that's fun. Like all of last year, I had a really good year because I really enjoyed the journey. And something very important, it was also the first year where I didn't feel lonely for a very long time. I'd built a community and I moved in with my friend Alessandra. We lived together. She moved into my apartment. Really, I'd been staying alone in my 2-bedroom apartment in Los Angeles because I felt like that was what I should do. But she moved in, and oh my goodness, that was just the best thing ever because we were just each other's support system. I built a community, like I mentioned. I joined a gym where I daily got some human interaction with people who were in the same field and had the same passion, at least within fitness, as me. And then I met Alex, who just has made me so happy. He makes me so happy. And it's funny because being in a van, or it was like a car with a tent on top, being together non-stop for 15 days, like literally we could not go anywhere without each other. We had to, be in the same warm tent, and everything we did together. Things come up and a relationship gets tested when you're together like that all the time. And I could not feel more grateful than having gotten to be with him. He literally is incredible. We have our differences that we're, chatting about, but the way we handle issues is just something that I am freaking grateful for, because we both are so into self-development and communicating through anything in a calm manner, in a place of like wanting to understand the other person, and also trying to feel and be heard through open communication. I think I lost what I was talking about. Oh yeah, that I found Alex last year, and that was also played a big part in me finding my happiness, as well as I really feel like I reconnected with my self-discipline even more. And that is something that makes me happy. I know that's not maybe potentially not it for everyone, but when I'm consistent with the habits that I want, that are in alignment with who it is that I want to be, then I just ultimately feel more happy every single day because I wake up and I think back to yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I did things that I said I was going to do. Yay, me. Of course, I had many days where I didn't, but just as a general, I upped my self discipline. But quick side note that I wanted to mention that I had written down was how just because we achieve our goal, it's not like all our problems go away. I still can tend to stress myself out if I have, I really have a lot going on. And sometimes it can be overwhelming and I can tend to stress myself out. And in seasons, it's better than others. But when we were traveling around, sometimes it wasn't like stressing me out, but towards the end, because I had so many things I had backlogged that I hadn't gotten done because I didn't realize like how much more there would be in a day than what I thought. So there would be less time for my work than I thought, which I've been so happy throughout. So like I don't want to make it seem like I haven't. Really have been freaking like feeling the happiness feeling. Like this is happiness. Those kind of emotions. But I also at times have been, oh my God, feeling so freaking stressed. And that is a tendency I've had throughout my life and something that I've really worked on and gotten better at. But it still tends to come up. And in those moments, I know what I got to do. I got to sit down, write a list of the things I need to get done, do the things that I can today, and move everything else on to tomorrow and stop stressing about it, because if I can't get it done, then there's no reason to stress about it. And then I can kind of like find my peace again. So, just to say that the problems that we have now are still going to be there when we achieve our goal. And I think that's really beautiful because that means there's constantly work to do. And as we know, growing means happiness. I certainly think so. I really, really do. I also really appreciate you listening, watching this podcast episode. And I'm happy to have gotten to catch up with you as well, to go towards those dreams, not giving up, and use those little manifestation tools to make it happen. And if one last thing that I do need to say is like patience, because things will happen in the time they're supposed to. And I can see that looking back at everything in my life, I can really see that certain things that I wanted at one time, if I'd gotten it at that time, then it wouldn't have unfolded very well because I wasn't personally grown to the level where I needed to be in order for it to turn out in the right way, if that makes any sense. And I know, so I had 3 goals in Bali, and one of them still hasn't fully come to fruition. But I also know that it will, and I also know it will come at the right time. And I know that that it's in the midst of the making of that. So I'm living my dream now, and it didn't happen in the timing that I would have liked, and yours may not either. So have patience. Trust that it is going to happen. Keep doing your little techniques, manifestation techniques, and feel grateful for your now. I think I forgot to mention that, but remember to feel grateful for your now. Gratitude brings in more things that you can feel grateful for. If you're feeling like you're in lack, you will not attract more joy. I'm sure you can relate that whenever everything has been flowing in your life, it feels like everything is just coming to you with ease, with flow, where when you feel like you're living in lack, nothing is really working out, things can just tend to unfold in ways that you do not like. So live in gratitude, practice gratitude, appreciate the things that you do have in your now, and you're going to attract more goodness into your life, and you deserve that. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this podcast episode and you found it useful, please share it with a friend or on social media if you think others could find it useful as well. I'm so grateful that you're listening. I hope you join the May Transformation Challenge, and I will chat with you again very soon.